Something big is brewing behind the scenes at Newcastle United, something that could completely change how the club is perceived next season. You know, those moves that don't make the headlines straight away, but when they're confirmed, everyone goes, "How did we not see that coming?" Yeah, this feels like one of those moments. It seems like the Magpies are setting up a masterstroke, a move that goes far beyond simply strengthening the squad. This is about ambition, about a club that's not satisfied with almost, and all signs point to this push putting Newcastle on a whole new level in European football. If you're one of those fans who tracks every detail of the transfer window, who gets excited by the rumors, and who already imagines certain players wearing the black and white stripes, then this video is for you. And hey, if you want to keep up with everything happening at Newcastle from the hottest, behind-the-scenes updates to match analysis, make sure to subscribe to the channel now. Here, we don't just report the news. We live Newcastle with you, every step of the way, on this journey to the top. Over the past few weeks, the names being linked with Newcastle have caught attention not just for their talent, but for their weight in the football world. What's even more exciting is the profile of the players being scouted. No questionable gambles or aging veterans past their peak. We're talking about players in their prime, with international experience, who would come in to raise the level of Eddie Howe's squad and prove that Newcastle are playing to win, not just on the pitch but in the transfer market too. And if the rumors turn out to be true, this could be the most impactful window in the Magpies' recent history. The atmosphere behind the scenes at St. James Park is heating up. The board is working quietly but intensively. The mission is clear: ensure the squad has enough depth to compete at the highest level in the Premier League and, more importantly, in European competitions. After flirting with the Champions League, the club wants to cement its place among the elite, and for that they need surgical reinforcements, players who don't just fill the squad, but who walk straight into the starting 11. And now, the big news begins to unfold. Newcastle are eyeing up an elite centre-back, who could be about to leave Bayern Munich. Yes, you heard that right. The information comes from the highly respected outlet Football Insider, which published an interview with former scout Mick Browner, well-known figure in football circles, and he confirmed it. Newcastle are closely monitoring Kim Min-jae, the South Korean centre-back currently playing for Bayern. According to Brown, Kim would be a good option to bolster Newcastle's defensive setup, especially after a tough year with injuries and inconsistencies in that area. The South Korean, once a target for Manchester United, could now become a reality at St. James Park, and it makes perfect sense. Sven Botman, for instance, has struggled with fitness. Dan Burn, while committed and strong, doesn't quite have the European profile, and Fabian Schär, as reliable as he's been, isn't getting any younger. Newcastle need a statement signing, a player with international pedigree and defensive leadership, and Kim Min-jae ticks all those boxes. At Napoli, he was one of the standout performers in a title-winning side. At Bayern, he's had good moments, but speculation suggests he could be available this summer, and Newcastle are already positioning themselves as a potential destination. Kim's arrival wouldn't just bring defensive solidity, it would also boost the club's reputation on the European stage. And the cherry on top, he's reportedly open to a move to the Premier League. Brown said he believes Kim has the right profile for English football, and that he's the kind of signing who makes a difference in big games on those European nights when the pressure is high and class has to shine through. The mere fact that Newcastle are in the race for a player like Kim shows just how far the club has come in terms of ambition and market strategy. And it doesn't stop there. By the way, if you're enjoying this in-depth coverage and want more exclusive analysis like this, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. Your support fuels us to keep bringing top-quality content about our beloved Newcastle. We track every rumor, every step, and keep you informed with responsibility, always backed by trusted sources, like this one from Football Insider. While the club's analyzing the defense with a fine-tooth comb, the attacking department is also drawing attention. And this time, the name being mentioned is, at the very least, surprising. Just picture a player once valued at £100 million, who dazzled the Premier League with his dribbling, assists, and magical performances. Wearing black and white sounds unlikely, right? But according to respected athletic journalist David Ornstein, Newcastle could be the perfect club to help Jack Grealish rediscover his best form. During a Q&A session on the Athletic website, Ornstein floated the idea Grealish could be loaned out, and Newcastle would be an ideal destination for him to bounce back. Of course, it's still speculation, as the journalist himself made clear. But the idea isn't fun. The player has lost his place at Manchester City, hasn't delivered as expected, and now needs the right environment to find his feet again. And Eddie Howe is exactly the type of manager who knows how to get the best out of his players. It's worth noting that Newcastle were linked with Grealish in the past, but the move stalled due to salary concerns and squad strategy. However, with Champions League qualification on the horizon and a more structured squad, the pieces might fit better now. The biggest obstacle remains his wages, reportedly around £300,000 per week, which is well above the current cap at Newcastle. Still, a loan deal with shared costs might be a feasible option. Grealish's age 29 also factors in, since Newcastle have been focusing on rejuvenating the squad. Paul Mitchell, who oversees recruitment, is looking for players with resale potential and several peak years ahead of them. However, making an exception for a player of Grealish's caliber wouldn't be outrageous. After all, he still has plenty left in the tank and, if properly motivated, could become one of next season's biggest surprises. The question is, will Newcastle actually make the move? Whether or not Grealish signs, what's clear is the club's new stance in the market. The targets are no longer fringe players or hopeful punts. These are established names, players who'd make an impact in any team in the world. It's a sign that Newcastle's project is maturing, and that Eddie Howe has the backing he needs to build a truly competitive squad. The goal is simple: to turn the club into a serious contender not just in England, but across Europe. And if you want to follow every move, every detail of this new era up close, don't wait, subscribe to the channel now. Here, we go deep, bring you insider updates, expert opinions, and all in a passionate, down-to-earth tone, just how fans talk to fans. Because more than a club, Newcastle is a passionate. You're part of this story with us. The coming weeks promise to be action-packed. With the transfer window approaching, we're bound to hear more about Kim Min-jae's future and the potential pursuit of Jack Grealish, and we'll be here, bringing you all the updates firsthand. So turn on notifications, share this video with your football-loving mates, and stay tuned. The 2025-26 season is set to be historic, and it starts right now, with decisions being made off the pitch.